What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Move Groove Grow podcast. This segment of the podcast is just me sharing updates of what's happening with my social media company, Vision Paradox, my dance company, Temper Tantrum, and my personal brand, Emeroy TV. Last week, I didn't do an update because it was my birthday, and I was also dead tired from filming with Temper Tantrum. I will get to that. First off, birthday. Uh, I'm an H. That's all I'm gonna say. What did I do for my birthday weekend? I filmed with Temper Tantrum uh, for a very awesome project that I'm excited to put out. Um, Not only that, I also did battle rounds with friends. I think it's a nice tradition to do that dancers or freestyle dancers or street dancers do when you turn a certain age. You battle for that many rounds. See if you've got the endurance. We didn't get to. Unfortunately, we didn't get to all the rounds because the time for the rental was what do you call it, was out, and we had to leave because we're adults and we had to get back. We had to get back to the rest of our lives, but we are continuing it. I do want to finish those rounds. Um, so yeah, we also had dinner after filming because filming with Temper Tantrum was on the 22nd, and after that, we had Korean barbecue with a lot of the members of Temper Tantrum, and we also are all friends in real life. Um, yeah, and one of the things we usually do when we have these dinners, we kind of share the lessons we learned or that we want to take from the previous year to the upcoming year. Um, I think the one that's coming up for me that I want to take from the previous year to this year is like continual discovery and optimization because uh, in an ideal setting, I'm focusing on one thing. I'm only focusing on Vision Paradox. I'm only focusing on Temper Tantrum. I'm only focusing on personal brand. Or like if I get a regular job, I'll just be focusing on that. And then like this nice compartmentalization or just one singular focus. Um, but I have to do versions of that. Like if I'm working on a Temper Tantrum project, I focus on one aspect of it. Or if I'm working on a certain project, I only focus on that for a good week or 2 weeks. Hence, that's what I've been doing lately for in terms of sprints. So the reason that's coming up is since I juggle a lot, um, to not get complacent with the certain standard. Like you discovering the new thing, optimize that, and that becomes the standard. And ideally, like it works that way. But also be open to making things better, not but to play devil's advocate on that. Not be um, optimized so much that things are constantly changing and it's kind of like all over the place. But more so like, okay, this is working right now, and then how can we tweak it a little bit more so I can produce the result I want in terms of like, for example, for work to get these amount of videos out for my YouTube channel or for Temper Tantrum or get a certain amount of meetings for Vision Paradox. So continual, like I'd say, optimization. Uh, that at least for me. Then another thing, just to add to that, because of the filming recently with Temper Tantrum, I really aggravated my back, my knee, and my right scapula, and my left shoulder, and it really had me thinking about changing up my training regimen because it was a certain way for a certain point. Then I led to this certain day, and there was a little bit of a breakdown, and I'm like thinking, okay, this hurts. What aspect of my training have I been ignoring that I need to put more focus on, and what other aspects do I need to step back on? It goes back to continual optimization. Nothing's ever going to be like the standard. At least some things will be a standard for a season, but things will change. Circumstances change. Humans change. Uh, yeah, I think that's the main thing that I'm taking on, and I think that really comes from. Uh, I feel like I finally found a pretty good rhythm juggling these different projects, um, where it feels like okay, if I spend a certain amount of time here, boom, I'm like set for a few months. Certain time here, boom, like certain things like that. So, and then going into I think Pareto's principle, the 80-20 whole that whole thing. Um, yeah, so continual optimization. In terms of uh, vision paradox, I've not been able to focus on that simply because the I shifted a lot of my focus on the filming the past 2 weeks, in terms of previs, in terms of uh, getting like locking down a little bit of a logistical thing in terms of the filming location, um, just also getting myself in the right headspace for it because you can plan all you want for a film day, but the thing is like there's so many variables that you can't account for. I'm just trying to get myself I was getting myself in the headspace of like, okay, this is the game plan. Worst case scenarios, how to recover from them. Just trying to get myself mentally ready for that. Um, Unfortunately, the media company that we were working with decided to go with another company. The security company, their CEO is coming back in town, I think this week in October. So we're having a follow up meeting. Again, have not been focusing on that, even though I know that's where a good chunk of the money is. I just have not focused on that because I've been focused on this project. So on the Temper Tantrum project. In terms of Emeroy TV, my personal brand, filmed a whole bunch of tutorials this past weekend. That's going to be up on Patreon and Udemy first. Uh, it felt good to teach. It felt good to film tutorials again. It was like I felt like I was in my element. I was having a lot of fun. Figured out a different way in how to present these tutorials, at least for like relative to me, because I know there's other amazing online dance instructors already out there. But I figured something out for myself that believe will be helpful for the students who take my online course. Yeah, it was just fun. It felt effortless and it felt very productive. And I'm excited to share that. So, in regards to Temper Tantrum projects, the last thing what we worked on last week was Love and Motion, one of the short films that we're filming in part of our anthology of Universal Rhythm. And if it's your first time watching this or just opening the newsletter in general, Universal Rhythm is the sold out show that we did last year, and this year, 2024, at the time of filming this, we're taking the stage show concept and putting it into film. Yeah, that day was pretty intense. It was a full day, 8 hours, lunch and everything, and it was definitely much more involved. It wasn't so much small sections here and there like we did in a previous shoot. Definitely much more involved in lighting, in moving stuff around when we were filming, and also a lot more members were dancing in the numbers. And the thing when it comes to all those things, having to fix the lighting, having to move furniture around, getting like and more dancers is there's more room. It takes more time. There's more room for error, and I think we did a really really good job, considering that we filmed it in a whole like short film thing in 8 hours, and it was I think it was pretty impressive. Fortunately, we were able to like get there early, start film. Yeah, we were actually able to set up like an hour earlier, but even then we were still running like a little behind at certain points. But there was also points in throughout the day where the dancers really had it. Yeah, that day was exhausting though. I was also running on 2 hours of sleep that day because I was obsessing over a few details that I felt like I overlooked, and then I was up until like 5, and then we had to wake up by 7 or 8 to meet our call time of 9:30. Yeah, we got there at 9, but still, the general call time was 9:30. Filming was great, energy was great. I think it overall looks good in terms of the teaser. And if you haven't seen it yet, here's a little bit of it right now. It's fire. I feel like it really feels like we created a world for ourselves with that story, and it's cool looking back at it. I look at it I'm like, man, I want to be in that, but then I look back at it, it's like, oh yeah, I was there. I was just fucking exhausted and so busy. Like, let's fucking make this thing go and awesome and make sure that everything's good. So I was kind of like more in my head of like, the things need to get done. Um, yeah, it was awesome. The next thing we're going to be doing in terms of filming is going to be happening in November. And once after November, all filming is done, we're going into post production, uh, full on into post production. I have a couple assembly cuts already for some of the stuff, but I can actually like sit down and really like look in terms of the beats and in terms of the narrative for everything. So yeah, in terms of other things, workshops. I'm assuming this is going to be out by tomorrow. We are having workshops this Sunday. So if you happen to be in the LA area, we're having workshops. They start at 9:30 a.m. And workshops, aka open training rehearsals, because this rehearsal is really meant for training specifically for the members. We're just happening to open the rehearsal to other people who want to join. So this whole month of October, we're going to be focusing on breaking training, led by myself, Ryan, and Spillers, and we're going to be focusing on the first half of rehearsal, which will be 9:30 to 11:30, and then the second half from 11:45 to 1:30, we're going to have choreography training, and that one will have feature different choreographers. So the whole purpose of the training is obviously to get everyone on the same page in terms of the dance language, challenge everyone, grow together, all this stuff. But also we wanted to make it inclusive in terms of bringing other people in who want to learn these styles as well. So if you haven't been to LA area, go check it out. The information should be in either in the email, if wherever you're watching this, or in the Patreon, or in the YouTube link description. Okay, so also this past weekend we recently did a huge batch of reaction filming. So those of you guys on the Patreon who have been enjoying and watching all the Street Man Fighter stuff and also the additional stuff, we have a lot more coming for you guys. So we appreciate your support. That's it in regards to the updates here on Temper Tantrum. Lots been happening. So lesson of the week. I know I already shared my whole thing of like the lesson I'm taking from the previous year that I'm taking on the upcoming year or moving forward. But this lesson really stuck out to me because I was at a friend's event on the night of my birthday, and one of the panel speakers said this, and it really, really, really stuck out to me. He said, "A burden shared is halved, and joy shared is multiplied." And that really like kind of just blew my mind in terms of like of sharing and connecting with other people. They mentioned a lot of the times we think our burden is our own, or there's no other people uh, with a similar kind of struggle, or like no one knows my struggle, and it probably is. It's unique. Your struggle is unique to you, but there's other people that have similarities or who can empathize with what the struggle is. Um, and a lot of times, especially myself, and I could probably speak for a good chunk of uh, men out there, we often to hold it to ourselves and we don't express for fear of vulnerability, for fear of like, I don't know, thinking it's dumb to share. But there is a release when you share and are honest about it, a kind of a release, like because it feels nice to be seen and heard. But it's the same thing like when you're out with friends shooting the shit, I don't know, doing whatever, playing like I don't know, video games, dancing, volleyball, bowling, whatever it is. Jet, when you share that, it just is multiplied. Like if you like get a win on your own, that's like that's awesome. Getting, for example, you get a backflip and no one sees you. That's pretty cool. Like yeah, I got it by myself. But like if you get a backflip and you have two other friends watching, it just gets way more hyped. So it's just yeah, I think that one really stuck out to me in terms of like the journey, and as us as individuals, we're not really meant to just do this alone. Greatness, quote unquote, whatever you define that as, or just life and the journey in general, we're not meant to go through it alone. That's it. We're not meant to go through it alone. Um, there's just a lot of unlearning in terms of being okay to be vulnerable, because there's also a bunch of assholes out there too. So yeah, so a burden shared is halved and joy shared is multiplied. So I think that's probably one of my favorite lessons from last week.